Alright, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, women, whoever watching this video? This is Total, and today we're going to be talking about some good stuff. I'm CJ.
I'm Nate.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it popping right now. So the first thing we're going to talk about, which everyone's talking about, which is a weird topic, is Dwight Howard. Why is he in the news? Why is he news at all?
Well, we know why he's news.
Oh, right, because he's whack.
The Late Show. No, but...
Oh, so it's the Lakers the news, or is Dwight Howard the news?
For sure, Lakers.
So it's not Dwight.
Think of it this way: if it was Charlotte just made a move to get Dwight back, and they, giving him a certain contract and all that, nobody would care.
Yeah,
it's because he's going to the Lakers. He's adding on to what they got going on.
Is it because it's the Lakers, or is this because LeBron's on the team?
Nah.
Like if he went back to the Lakers 2 years ago, would it be a big deal?
I think it would have been talked about as much because the Lakers, it's just like, oh, what are the Lakers today? What they've got to deal with Dwight again, and how's that gonna go? The drama of it.
I don't think Dwight Howard has any business in the NBA anymore.
He's doing a lot more. He's still got the size and athleticism. It's just, he's gone through some injury. His last few seasons that he did play in the league, he did pretty well.
I mean, when he was playing, if you look at it, this dude didn't get anywhere with the Wizards. He didn't really get anywhere with Charlotte. And he was in his hometown, Atlanta, where the Atlanta fans didn't even embrace him. He can't play a full season. He did start getting a little bit of shots and stuff like that. Give me the last time he played a full season.
Well, even with the Hornets, he put in 30 minutes a game, 17 points, 12 rebounds.
But he didn't. I think he got like 40 to 50 games.
My point being is that the Lakers don't need a front-running center. They need another piece that can give them half of what McGee is going to give them already. It's like they need another piece. They had Zubac, which was the perfect piece for that, but they gave up. But what this really reminds me of, and what I really see as far as a high ceiling with this move, it's a low ceiling to a lot of people when you look at like his output, how consistent he's been, not being hurt, so forth. Because you got Anthony Davis as one of your feature bigs.
I take on him.
Yeah, so if you got him as one of your feature bigs, it makes sense why a lot of people have pause. Like, well, you got another injury-prone person or another person that might not be there for you when you need them. But on the flip side, I look at it like it's a high ceiling because they obviously don't have high expectations with Dwight. It wasn't a big addition to them. This was their last piece on the roster type of thing. Secondly, they didn't commit to any guarantee, so they can give them up or whatever, cut them at All-Star break if they want to. Thirdly, the big high ceiling is that if you go back, I'm a little older, I'm going to tell my age, but in 95, when the Bulls got Dennis Rodman.
Did you say 65?
So in 95, when they got Dennis Rodman, he was almost unwanted. Like I was just reading in a report about from 95 when this happened, where it was like they interviewed Popovich and he was like, well, what do you think? They moved Dennis Rodman, he was the centerpiece with you guys when you guys were successful or so, and he's like, I'm not surprised. That's what Popovich said about him getting traded. And then it's Dennis Rodman who led the league 4 seasons in a row at that time in rebounding. He's a good defensive player, but they traded him for Will Purdue, who's like, like an even trade. That would be crazy today. Just imagine Draymond Green
during that time when he was at the Spurs.
Who led the league in rebounding the last 4 years? Has any one person led the league in rebounding 4 years?
No, you had Kevin Love, I think, who did it for like 2 seasons straight, but that's
Would you say Andre Drummond at his point, where he is, his relevance to the league is where Dennis Rodman was at that time?
No, I can tell you why, too. I can tell you the reason why.
So you're saying less or more? You're saying Dennis Rodman had a higher attachment or a higher
for rebounding?
Success rate? Period. I'm just talking about as a player. Dennis Rodman or Andre Drummond, who do you got?
I got Dennis Rodman.
So if Dennis Rodman's bigger, you don't think it would be big news if Andre Drummond was like all of a sudden traded for, let's say, some sub center that barely plays?
No,
you don't think it would be like crazy?
It depends on what. See, it's different now because we know about everybody's life through social media.
True.
Dennis Rodman started going through certain things during that time, changed his hair color, getting into certain things where it was like,
were like, whoa, that's true.
But back in the day, in the 90s, if you were black and you were coloring your hair blonde, getting tattoos in places, putting tattoos
coming in a wedding dress to the press.
Exactly. When you're doing stuff like that and you have Popovich as your coach, it's probably not gonna go the right way. But then when you have somebody like Phil Jackson who's like, I don't care what you look like.
You're not on the court.
Yeah,
right?
as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you can do anything off the court.
Right.
As long as you come to work on time, you practice, you work hard, you do your job that I tell you to do, you're fine. Papa's old school. You're going to do it my way, on and off the court.
I just feel like I'm bringing up Rodman because this reminds me a lot of that. The same opportunity for redemption story to where Rodman had all that negativity attached to his name. It was really ugly to where they were like, we're unloading Rodman. We don't care. Will Purdue was even expected to probably be little to nothing for their team. But they were like, look, let's get rid of our best rebounder and defender in the post because he's a problem. So, I mean, at that point, when he goes to Chicago, unless we're having a forum or we're talking about Dennis Rodman in the way we are now, people don't talk that way about Dennis Rodman. He was one of the centerpieces of the Big Three in Chicago. Like, yeah, they say they understand his distractions, but it was like, that's minimal now because he's a 3-time championship with Michael Jordan. You know, it's like totally different now. So if Dwight plays a big part in the Lakers actually having like that kind of success, they win a championship this year, people are not going to be talking about this Dwight anymore.
Well, LeBron's got his team. He should be able to do some of these Lakers team. I got them going to the Western Conference Finals. It's not the championship. So since we talk about the West and Dwight Howard, what's good with the East?
I think that's a great segue because the West has been talked about largely because those big teams, the Clippers, were what they were able to put together. And then you got the Lakers, of course, and then people want to see the Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, and a lot of people are interested in different teams in the West. The East, I don't hear anybody talking about.
Yeah, nobody really talking about that.
And you got Milwaukee, who definitely was a big threat in making the finals last year. They got cut short. They got handled by the claw, and Raptors team.
I think that's the reason why people dismiss them, because they were number one in three-point shooting. They were, I think, number one in the whole league at one point. Yeah. They had the MVP. They had the MVP. And then you lose in less than 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Just imagine
people think
story.
It's gonna fluke.
Imagine the story though. If last year somehow Milwaukee ends up winning, then the woes the Warriors had, where like Klay goes out, Durant doesn't play, like that kind of stuff against Giannis. Yeah. How that would have made Giannis a legend. Like Giannis would have won, and they would have been like. Same way they kind of did Kawhi. Kawhi is a very dynamic player. I think a best two-way player for sure in the game. But then with that said, it elevates you when you win a championship.
That's bad for the East, though, because they lose another star to the West.
Well, and that's why nobody's talking about the East, I think, because of all the star power in the West. But when you consider, Brooklyn's additions, obviously it's more long-term than short-term. And then you have...
that's not even don't even get me started on Brooklyn. Yo,
we're going to get to Brooklyn, though. We're going to get to Brooklyn because I want to talk about Kyrie and them boys, too. But I just think when you think about the powerhouses in the East, people are thinking about Philadelphia because of where they came short, how they could have easily beat Toronto, too. And it was
a last shot.
A 5-bouncer, But then you got... On the flip side, you gotta look at people to say, okay, Milwaukee, because they were almost there too. Nobody's even looking at the East. Mm-hmm. They're just saying this team was almost there, they're a threat. This team was almost there. Who's to say what Kemba in Boston with Brad Stevens does? We saw what Isaiah Thomas did under Brad Stevens. I mean, if Kemba accepts the role the right way and doesn't do things like Kyrie wants to ISO ball it, who knows what that could be? Then you got to consider teams like the Hawks. I'm biased. But the
404?
Real talk. But ATL, man, they can be surprising young team. A tough young team. The Knicks, people aren't talking about because you're only relevant if you're a threat to win the championship.
And that's where I'm biased.
But they're a threat to win the championship, then you're considered. But like if you're not, then people act like you're just garbage. But you're still posing a problem for these teams that are trying to make it. If the Knicks play up and that young talent gels, it's scary with a Julius Randle now in the East. Mm-hmm. Hell, like who's in the East ready? They even got rid of Whiteside. So who's in the East gonna deal with Julius Randle and your boy Mitchell in the post?
Yeah,
like that. But nobody thinks of it that way because you're like powerhouse Philly. Powerhouse Milwaukee. Well, that's 2 teams to play. They still got plenty of teams they can just run through. So that's gonna be interesting in the East. I got number 1 coming out of the East, Milwaukee.
That's safe.
Very safe, but the reason why I'm looking at it that way because I feel like Giannis, after the way he lost against Toronto, he looks at it like he has a lot of improvement to make, and he's like arguably the best player we've seen in the league in a long time. I mean,
dominant wise.
Yeah, I mean, well, the reason why
he ain't got no jump shot.
We've seen LeBron and we've seen Kobe, but we haven't seen a 7-foot guy be able to dominate up the court like this. Not like slow down.
Because we've seen a 7-foot guy dominate in a different way, just not the way he does.
Right. You're not running up during the Euro step and dunking on somebody. That's so. Just the idea of him getting a pure jump shot, working on his jumper.
I also got Milwaukee coming out because it's safe and it's whatever they did last year.
On defense.
Yeah. So I got Milwaukee coming out, and then I got Philly second. And oddly enough, I got the Pacers as third. If Victor Oladipo comes back the same way, they're coached really well. They predicate on defense as well.
That's a good
and they
sleeper.
They have a leader in Oladipo who that guy don't stop. And he's home. When you play at home, you just play at a higher level.
My sleeper is Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta?
I
got them like 5 or 6.
Trae Young is feeling more confident than anybody thought he could feel in the NBA.
You're right. Offensive line, I give Atlanta. I probably have them at 5 or 6, but they don't play defense.
Don't sleep on John Collins. Don't sleep on Ben.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they go. I mean, they give up. Like,
they were young though. They were playing defense and as a young team, not understanding the grit of the game. Like I watch the Hawks play, and it'll be like a solid first half, or even sometimes three quarters. But that fourth quarter, or just throughout the game, one of the quarters they just didn't show up.
I got the Knicks making the playoffs at 8th seed, and I got the Brooklyn Nets at the 6th or 7th seed. I do not see where there are a top.
So where are the Hawks?
I told you 5 or 6.
So you got the Hawks higher.
Yeah, I said that.
That's what I was saying. I'm saying the Hawks are actually going.
You said you're a sleeper, so I'm thinking you putting them at like 3, like I put Indiana.
No. So 3. You feel like Indiana would be 3?
Yeah. Who's better? They made the playoffs. So Victor Oladipo went out in half.
Boston is better than people are. You don't like Boston because it's Boston.
No, it's not. I'm a Boston hater, but it's not because of that. They added somebody that's also a ball-dominant point guard who also doesn't like to pass as much. Yes, he went to college a little bit longer. He, does certain things a little bit better than I would say Kyrie does. But because you have emerging stars that will openly like, hey, listen, I lost shit for when I got Kyrie. Now you add in a Kemba Walker 1. He's only been in the playoffs twice. He balls out and he has a scorer mentality. I just don't think replacing Kemba over Kyrie is going to be that drastic of a difference, especially when you have people like Tatum and Brown who are openly saying, yo, it's my time.
Indiana, I think you're right about Indiana. I would place them higher than the Hawks, but just like right above the Hawks.
Like 4?
I got the Hawks like 6th. I got, Indiana maybe being 4th, but 5th is where I can see them mostly, I think the Hawks can end up matching up with like a Boston that's 6-3. And I think we could beat Boston.
You must be out your mind.
I think we could beat Boston.
Atlanta ain't beating no Boston. See, it's just me hating. Anyway, I'm just joking.
You got Kemba and Trae Young going off. It would be a nice series. It would be a very nice series.
I don't like Boston, but I got Boston in 7. I'm not gonna say it's a sweep. I got Boston in 7. I'm just saying that overall playoff experience just pulls through at the end. But I think the next year, if the third year of Trae's season, and they play Boston again, I got Atlanta over Boston.
So we're talking about this guard talk. We got to segue again into what is Kyrie Irving going to do with his own show and not a Brad Stevens offense where he's restricted. He's literally going to be able to do the LeBron.
You mean the New Jersey Nets? The Brooklyn Nets? Nothing. He's going to be a 7. They
still got Jared Allen. Mm-hmm. They added your boy Jordan, DeAndre Jordan. Yeah. So it's like twin towers.
He doesn't.
Your boy Carey is a beast. Uh-huh. He was balling. Dinwiddie still balling there. Yeah. I mean, they got a loaded squad team to ball with Kyrie.
Do you know why that team did well last year? Because they shared the ball. Kyrie's not gonna do the same thing that.
But they
D'Angelo
all
Russell
play
did.
well off the ball because D'Angelo Russell.
Exactly, but D'Angelo Russell is a pass-force point guard that was told to shoot more.
But
Kyrie Irving is not that.
But a lot of the shots were still coming from the guard position. What I'm saying, it still was D'Angelo Russell, Dinwiddie shooting a lot of the shots.
I get that, but he's going and he's moving around, and he has a point guard that's looking to pass first. You do not have that with Kyrie. There's a reason why LeBron does so well. You get open, he gives you the ball. You get open with Kyrie, he's going to try to call somebody and get to the
I
ball.
don't agree with that. He was not playing that way in Boston. In Boston, he kept trying to get dudes involved, but they liked it when it was just like other dudes.
No, he
leading
did
them.
a better job, but you cannot force something that is not natural. He did a better job. That's a better job.
So where do we see Kyrie taking Brooklyn?
I told you, 7 seed, 7-6 seed.
I got Brooklyn still being maybe top 5 seeds in the East.
I don't see how. If you watch,
Because I don't have the Hawks top 5. I just have them being effective. It's a difference. Like I still see the Hawks playing really well, but they're very young and they don't have Coach Bud.
First off, DeAndre Jordan, he was on the Knicks, wasn't impressed. When he was on the Mavs, wasn't impressed. His game is going down if he doesn't have a certain type of point guard. There's some players that need a certain type of point guard. Amari Stoudemire needed a certain type of point guard.
Irvin wouldn't be the perfect guard.
No,
like
he's
DeAndre
not.
Jordan.
Absolutely. What the hell?
What? Kyrie draws so much attention that it's the same thing. with James Harden.
DeAndre Jordan came in the same year or the year before with Blake Griffin. The only reason why people knew about him is because of Lob City. After Lob City, his numbers drastically fell. That's just fact.
You a Kyrie hater, man.
I'm not a Kyrie
You
hater.
are. You are like signing off. This is CJ.
Next
Great.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.